We're going to be examining point slope formula, and the definition for this that we'll be focusing on is the slope formula can be used to develop the point slope form of an equation of a line. Now we've been looking at slope intercept form of a line, also known as y equals mx plus b, but now we're going to focus on point slope form. So suppose that a line has a slope m and passes through a particular point x1, y1. Let xy be any other point on the line. So from our slope formula, we have y, which is any y coordinate, minus y1 from our particular point, divided by x. Again, x is from any other point on the line, minus x1, which is from our particular point on our line. And this is set equal to m, which is our slope. Now, by dividing through by multiplying through by our denominator, we can clear the fractions. So multiply by the denominator, and the denominator is x minus x sub 1 to clear the fraction. So in order to preserve the equality of the slope formula, whatever we do to one side, we need to do to the other. So we're going to take x minus x1 and we're going to multiply it by y minus y1 over x minus x1, again to clear the denominator. So x minus x1 cancels with x minus x1. But to keep the equality maintained, whatever we do to one side, we need to do to the other as well. So for the right hand side, I also need to multiply by x minus x1. And this produces our point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1, where m is our slope and x1 comma y1 is the point of our line. So now we're going to look at an example. So using the point slope formula, we can write the equation of a line given a point and slope of the line. So for example, use the point slope formula to find an equation of the line passing through the point negative 5, 2 and having a slope of negative 3. So we want to take a moment and examine what do we have. So we have a point, so we have a specific x value, negative 5. We have a specific coordinating y value, which is 2. And we also have the slope, m, given, which is negative 3. So now we can use our formula. Our formula for our point slope formula is y minus y1 equals m, our slope, times x minus x1. Y we leave alone because remember y is the y coordinate of any point on this line, so we leave it alone. Minus y1, and y1 was given to us as 2. Slope was also given to us as negative 3. X we leave alone because it's any x value of a point. And then minus, be careful here, x1, and x1 was given as negative 5. So y minus 2 is equal to negative 3, and a subtraction of a negative actually becomes addition of the positive. So we have x plus 5. So what do we now have to do with that -3? So if you said distribute, you are right on track. So we need to distribute that -3 to both the x and the +5, which gives us -3x minus 15. And then in order to write our equation in slope-intercept form, we want to solve for y. And in order to do so, we need to add 2. And watch your arithmetic. I'm going to make sure we recognize we're adding 2 to both sides, which will cancel out this -2 on the left-hand side, which will then give us, take a few moments and make sure you process this. Your arithmetic is just as important as your algebra. So this subtraction of 15 plus 2, well, 15 has a larger absolute value than 2, so it is more powerful or more dominant. So -15 plus 2 is going to be dominated by this -15. So the difference between 15 and 2 is 13, but the negative dominates, so we have -13. Now, one of the things that we're going to tackle in class, not on your own in our pre-work, but in class where we have more support, is we can also write the equation of a line given 2 points. But in order to do so, we first must find the slope. And we can use either point with the point slope formula to then find the equation of the line. So we want to be prepared for in-class work, and in order to do so, I'm going to have you just do this one question, which is to find the slope of the line. So this is good review. Remember your slope formula. I'm going to allow you to go back in your notes and make sure you grab that slope formula. So find the slope of the line passing through the points 4, -6 and -1, 2.